A man reproduces himself through his child, so when he leave here, he can just smile. But I see fit to stay here a while, maybe buy a timeshare somewhere, rock bumware, beach chair, write a book each year. You can write yourself out of your blessings. Wreck your Lambo the first stages by driving too reckless. Time is too precious, these some obvious lessons. Please remind me to watch my step while I balance on edges, ski on the slopes of life. Slide down the Ave at night, watching them graphing graffiti on walls, that's the sight. Cars from Germany, I be pushing the fastest type. Looking at real estate, brother, I need the asking price. Imagine another rapper making me perspire. I got more styles and more flows, plus I'm much flyer. I got more heights to reach, but I'm already higher. I'm already on to the next thing. Peace and bless, King.
Let's go. Okay, it'd be nice if the camera was on. Let's go, people. What It Takes, Monday, December 19th, 2022. I know, right? It's just, as always, the time is just going by so fast. Next week will be Christmas, more on this upcoming Sunday. More importantly, my birthday this Saturday. Just a gentle reminder. Man, I know a lot of people have been talking about, at least in my sphere, that Christmas just came too fast. They haven't even gotten their presents. So let's get it together, people. Let's get it together. It might not feel like Christmas. We have to make it feel like Christmas, even here in Florida. I think that's the hardest part about Christmas in Florida, is that we don't have the season, so to speak. I think today got a little chilly. It was maybe 59, 60 degrees. It's probably around 65, probably in the 70s now. So shouts out to Florida. Yeah, it's 69 degrees right now. It'll be 70, the high of 75. Beautiful, beautiful weather down here in Florida. Guys, I guess this is the Christmas special, right? Because I got the hat on. So I'm not going to hold us too long. I just wanted to jump in, share a couple of things. We're definitely going to talk a little bit about real estate. We're going to talk a little bit about actually doing business during this season, etc. I'll talk about a little bit about what's going on with me, etc. But first off, let's get into the housekeeping. Remember, each and every Monday nights, there's no holidays for me. If I'm away, I'm still going to make sure that there's a show here on Monday nights. As long as I have the technology and I'm able to do it, I will do it. It's not based upon a feeling for me. It's based upon knowing that this is helpful and this will be helpful to someone. So 9 o'clock, What It Takes. You'll see me here every Monday right around 9 o'clock. I have this thing scheduled if it's not live. Of course, on Wednesdays, it starts with me, my brother Joel Simmons with the Tenacity Foundation. He has some great events coming up next year as we go into the new year, but check him out Wednesdays at 12:30. I'm sure he'll tell you more about the events and the different things he has going on with his company. 12:30, he drops a new interview on Wednesdays. Go check it out. Interviewing entrepreneurs, all kinds of people. Go check out Joe. Of course, on Fridays, we have Community Beacon. We actually shot a great show for last Friday. We're talking about the reasons for the season. It was, what if you don't have it to give? So those of us who are really strapped for gift giving during this holiday season, it's reminding you about the reason for the season, some things that you can do, not necessarily having to go into debt for just momentary pleasure. One of the questions I asked during that show, or maybe before the show, I'm not sure, was, can you remember what gift you got when you were 8, 10, 12, 13, 14? Maybe a really good gift to give for this season are traditions, right? So try to give the gift of tradition. That'll transcend through time. Like me wearing this small hat. I swear this hat was bigger last year because I know I wore it last year, but right now it's squeezing my sides. Okay, and then Friday Community Beacon, of course. Also, go check out my brother Beethoven Francois, The Hustler's Testimony. Go check that out on YouTube. He interviews all kinds of entrepreneurs from all over the country. Has a great job doing production. So check him out. He and I will be doing some things as well as we get into the new year. So I'm excited about that. So without further delay, let's get into a little bit of what we like to call it real estate news, right? I got to find here we go. Boom. So this real quick. Oh, look at that in the background. I don't know why that's in the background. I wish I could tell you. My baby in the background. Let me see this. That's funny. Um. Oh, you know what? I do know how to work it. I do know a little bit about this. There you go. Boom. Let's see that. Sorry, guys. I just got excited about figuring something out. So let me get back to this. Right now, this article is talking about Florida. Let me tell you about Florida and our international buyers. It says that close to every four international buyers opt for a home in Florida. So 1 out of every 4 people that are buying homes that are international buyers are buying their homes in Florida. This is the number 1 choice as it states, and by far, California's number 2, and they'll probably only be there for a short amount of time as well. Let's see. Florida's 24, California's 11%, 8%, 7%, 4%. I would have thought New York would have been higher, just because I think that's where a lot of people think to go. But maybe, you probably visited and say, hey, listen, the winters aren't for us. So it says the highest dollar volume, and our international buyers pay cash or at least half of what properties are going for, be just in order to get a loan. If they're getting a loan, it's a little bit stringent. I'm actually doing an international buyer this week. So I will definitely give you some information and document that process in regards to the lenders. I have a lot more information in that regard. Some people just stay here, they get their citizenship, they rent for a little meanwhile, but some people are going straight to buying and investing and using this as investments. I actually had an international investor a couple of years ago from Argentina. Shouts out to Argentina. Shouts out to Argentina in the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was a great game. So just for some real quick information in regards to it, transactions for a decrease in the most recent period. Dollar volume foreign buyers purchases rose 8.5% to 59 billion in the period ending March 2022. So shouts out to Florida for staying ahead of the game with the international buyers. Great place to live. If you're in America, you should think about buying in Florida. I love it here. I love Florida. I love everything about the state. It's not alligators for those of you who think it is. All right, so let's get into what's next real quick. So I did want this show not to go too much, and I know. Listen, guys, what it takes. Let me take this off if I can find it. Here we go. All right, cool. What it takes is about the work. The amount of effort you have to put in, the amount of attention you have to put on. I like that word better. The amount of attention and intention you have to put in regards to your business, right? So a lot of these things, and it wasn't until I want to say, I've always been disciplined in work, but I couldn't really. My parents are workaholics, right? My mom is a workaholic. My dad is a workaholic. He's retired and he's still talking about work. I just spoke to him last week. He's like, work. So this is like second nature to us. And that because that's what I grew up seeing, people actually working hard. So it's not, but for some people it's different. And I've come to notice that from people who I've coached, people that I've been around, and even within this real estate game, which is, it's not physically hard, right? But it's definitely can be mental strength. It can be mentally draining. And so for people who have never seen that before, who are coming from a place of I do my 8 hours or 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is, and I go home and I have the option of compartmentalizing my job, working for someone else, and I don't have to take it home with me. They're not calling me, or I don't have to pick up the phone. If there's a fire, I don't really have that on my mind. Whereas us as business owners, we're constantly having these things on our mind, and we constantly have to put in the attention, intention, and effort in order to make sure that we have successful businesses. And a lot of people haven't seen that. Even within the real estate space, and I've been here for a while, I didn't really notice it until I got into some of these Zoom groups and started working with other realtors across the nation, top 1% realtors across the nation, and see the amount of work and effort that they put in to be in that top 1%. right? And I'm not saying people who have been in the, because I'm sure a lot of them have, the ones who have been here for years, 16, 20 years, they had to be doing something, but they're not at that point anymore, because real estate tends to be more of a relationship game. So once you have that relationship, you just have to nurture that relationship. And a lot of us some of us understand the nurturing of the relationship. That's another topic. But what does it take to actually get the relationships in order to nurture them, to start to get our client, to do client acquisitions? And when you're talking about business, it tends to be, it's the merry-go-round. It's a lot more effort up front, and then eventually it goes, it starts to twirl on its own. You start to spend less money. Like, how much does it cost you to acquire a customer is a lot more than what it does require to keep a customer. And then for even figuring out the kind of customers that you want, because we're not all I would say that everyone doesn't need to work with everyone. There's certain people that you want as your customer base. You want Elf. They call him Elf. It's not Dean Jackson, but someone who works with Dean Jackson talks about the Elf. Easy, lucrative, and fun. That's what you really want. And that's 20% of the people that you may come across. The other 80% you may not necessarily want to work with. Okay. So what do you do? Like, even today, it's Monday, it's the 19th, for whatever reason, I'm in Monday Mike mode, but I still have to get my work done. I still had to get on the phones early at 8, had dropped my son off, come back, shoot a video, get back on the phones and actually work throughout the day and get these things done and have the energy and be consistent and enthusiastic with what it is that I'm doing. Because we don't just want days to be lost days. And that's what we can end up doing. The next thing you know, you have too many lost days pieced together. Sometimes they're not pieced together and you're out of business, right? So I thought I would talk today about the process. The process. My uncle said processes. Shouts out to Uncle. Bye-bye. Because you have to have the process is going to do the heavy lifting. Last week I spoke about leverage. The process is your leverage, or you should be leveraging a process. A process shows you exactly what needs to be going on. That way you don't get lost in the sauce of being this entrepreneur. Shouts out to you. You got business cards. You got to get lost in the process so that you can have this results. This is key. And also what the process does in regards to leveraging it is you don't have to exert as much energy, because the process does that for you. And just like when you're starting any new businesses, it's more upfront work in order to come up with these processes. You should model your processes. You should find somebody that can model your processes and that's processes you can take from, but it's always going to look different. You can, unless you get them in there, like McDonald's, great processes. That's why they're around. Any great business has great processes. You have to get lost in the process. That takes away the feelings. Hey, emotional Mike. Feelings, 90 seconds. I'm having these feelings. They go and they come and they go and they come. I don't know. Get into your process. Mike, you get on the phone. Well, my day starts a lot earlier, but let's just say the work day, 8 o'clock. I was on the phone at 7:55 talking to a friend. Hey, I have to go. All right, I need to get on the phones at 8 o'clock. That's the time that I decided. That's my process. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Things happen 1000%, but as soon as I'm able and capable to get on the phone, I need to get on the phone. That's you have to get lost in that process. You have to be obsessed with the processes. I think I came up with KCP, knowledge, communication, and process. Those are the top 3 things you need for a business. And your process, when I say obsessed with process, you need to know your process backwards, forwards, and frontwards. You should be able to dissect these different processes. You don't need to skip any of the processes. That's what they're there for. You need step 1 to go into step 2, step 3, step 4. Step 1, Mike is on the phone at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, excuse me. Step 1, 7:55, 7:50, 7:55. Mike is turns on the Zoom call. Mike does affirmations with the group. 8 o'clock, we're on the phones. 8:21, I have my son. I'm taking him to the bus stop or to school. I'm getting back at 8:45. I'm doing 15 minutes of breath work, meditation, whatever. 9 o'clock, back on the phones or you're shooting a video. Like these are just the different processes, and I have to be obsessed with them because sometimes things happen in your business, right? So, and I get into that. You got to be passionate about the process. Do I sound passionate now? I just don't want to yell at the phone, but I did drop my pen. And I was knocking the pen. Like, I'm passionate about processes. You have to get them. You have to be able to put them here. And you cannot skip processes until you are a master of the process. And 9 times out of 10, you're not. Refine the process. Always make the processes as simple as possible. Always make them as simple as possible, okay? You just steadily refine it. How can I make this better? How can I make this better? How can I refine it? How can I make it simpler, right? You got to go deep into the process. Why do we have these processes? Mike, why are you saying your affirmations before 8 o'clock? Oh, so that I'm confident. I'm ready to go. I believe myself, because if I don't believe myself, I know myself. And if I don't know and believe in myself, then how will the customer know and believe in me? I'm really skeptical about that belief. I'm more so about the no, and the affirmations remind me about the no. Okay, get deep into that process. Getting back, doing the breath work. You need that. I need to be recharged. I just dropped my son off with it's a different mic. Mike dropping his son off is a different mic than on the phone. I'm all the same mic, but it's just, I'm having conversations about school. I'm no longer talking about real estate with my son. I'm just talking about school. We're talking about getting prepared for the day, and having that enthusiasm when he has questions for me. Kids, you gotta love kids, but kids will keep you on your P's and Q's. So you get deep into the process. Eventually you can leverage the process, meaning that now I can leverage the process. I might be able to give this to somebody else to do. To take this part of the process. I can delegate this out. I used to hate that I had to say how much I used to delegate, but I can. It took me no time to understand the process. So I can delegate this out and give the process to somebody else. Hey, you take this part of the process, but now I can do these checks and balances to make sure these things are getting done. I mean, I can't delegate affirmations, right? I might be able to delegate the phone calls at 8 o'clock. Right. So there's certain times and certain processes that we can start to delegate, but you have to know that process inside and out. You would have had to master it in order to be able to leverage it. I tried. Listen, if anyone tried not to do certain things within the business and skip and backdoor or whatever it is, just to get to the next level, and not to say I didn't have success doing that, but there was no process in it. So when it was time for me to get someone else in that I'm paying to do it, I can't teach them that because I don't know my process or the reason for I haven't mastered my process. And I can't give it to someone else to teach this person because they're in my business. I run my business the way that I run my business, just as how you should run your business the way you run your business. Listen, if you have any questions about this, if you'd like to add to this, I'm all ears. I love to hear it. DM me, write something down here. Also, if you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell real estate here in North Palm Beach County, I am your guy. Let's have that conversation. Okay, guys, listen, have a happy holidays. Have a Merry Christmas. I will see you the day after Christmas. Enjoy your family. Remember the reason for the season. Okay, love you guys. I will see you next week.
A man reproduces himself through his child, so when he leave here, he can just smile. But I see fit to stay here a while, maybe buy a timeshare somewhere, rock bumwear, beach chair, write a book each year. You can write yourself out of your blessings. Wreck your Lambo the first stages by driving too reckless. Time is too precious, these some obvious lessons. Please remind me to watch my step while I balance on edges, ski on the slopes of life. Slide down the Ave at night, watching them graphing graffiti on walls, that's the sight. Cars from Germany, I be pushing the fastest type. Looking at real estate, brother, I need the asking price. Imagine another rapper making me perspire. I got more styles and more flows, plus I'm much flyer. I got more heights to reach, but I'm already higher. I'm already on to the next thing. Peace and bless, King.